Hi, Jar. So, I'm sure that you've all seen my cat Bailey from the short I posted recently. You might also know that I asked a friend of mine, Kottoons, link in description and in the iCard above, if I should dedicate an entire video to my beloved Fluff Nugget. And she, rather strongly, suggested that I should ask Bailey's permission before doing so. Well, I got her blessing to make a YouTube video about her, and so here you all are to listen to me talk about my tiny little loaf. Fun fact about Bailey, I did not rename her after I got her. Her name was Bailey when she was up for adoption, and I thought it was so fitting for her sweet and bubbly personality that I kept it. On the topic of adopting her, let me tell you how I ended up with this fuzzy little ball of energy in the first place. One day, it was time to take Oliver and Sally to the vet. Now, how we got a cat and a dog to the vet's office in the same car and returned home in one piece, that is a mystery. However, I'm not here to talk about them, I'm here to talk about Bailey. So, I never knew that where we take our pets for checkups even had a section for adoptable cats. I always just looked at the fish. But when I went over to watch said fish, something caught my eye. Dozens of cats and kittens up for adoption. I, of course, being the cat lover that I am, ran over to look at the cats. I pet almost all of them, but the one I was beginning to get attached to was a little white kitten with brown patches and green eyes. His name was Cole. I went to get my mom to ask if we could adopt him. I showed her how he would rub against my hand and purr softly when I stuck my hand through the cage. Listening to all of this, you may be thinking, what about Bailey? Well, Mom, being a good mom, instead of just flat out telling me no, she told me she would discuss it with Dad, and if it was decided that we could indeed adopt another cat, that we would come back to the pet store and adopt a kitten of my choosing. The next day, we came back to the store, and I looked around to find Cole sleeping in his litter box. I would hate to wake up a sleeping kitten, so I looked at some of the other cats. The one that had caught the attention of my sister was a skinny little short-haired brown tabby kitten named Bailey. The kitten was energetic, sweet, and absolutely adorable. I poked my hand through the cage, and Bailey rubbed her face on my hand and purred softly. You know when cat owners say that you don't choose a cat chooses you? Well, at that moment, I knew I had been chosen. She purred and meowed happily for nearly 2 hours before we could finally take her home. One of the cat caretakers informed us that she wasn't eating much and was having a bit of trouble. We thanked her for letting us know and went on our merry way. The first few days with her were so nice, and we learned a lot about our new addition to the family. However, it turned out she had a bacterial infection and ended up having to go to the hospital to get an IV. Eventually, though, it all worked out. It turned out that the other kittens near her had the same infection, and they recovered, though it took them longer. Thankfully, Bailey is now a full-grown cat who takes joy in climbing walls and annoying her siblings. By the way, remember how I originally mentioned that she was a brown tabby? Well, at the pet store, she was listed as a silver tabby, but ended up becoming much more brown as she got older. The same pattern also occurred with Oliver, Bailey's grumpy older sibling. Just to clarify, they aren't biologically related, but they do look a lot alike. The only difference is that Oliver is very big with long hair, and Bailey is tiny with short hair. In conclusion, I love my little nugget of happiness, and if you have a cat, you should too. I sometimes wonder what would happen if we didn't adopt Bailey, or where those other cats ended up. But wherever they are now, I hope they're doing great. These sweet little animals with knives for feet deserve the world, and so does any other pet. Wait! We can't possibly make a video about Bailey without a word from the legend herself! Hi, Bailey. Hey, Bailey. Aw, big yawn. So, you made it to the end. This was my very first fully scripted video, and I'm very proud of it. This is also my shortest piece of long-form content. By the way, thank you for watching to the end. Unless you skip to the end, in which case, you're weird. Anyways, bye!